Hi, I'm Richard from Metaphors of Comedy, and today I'm going to show you one of the methods that I use to write jokes for stand-up comedy. This is a live demonstration where I actually write 5 jokes using the method, so if you want to see those jokes in advance, click the little link up here, then come back to this video. So for a start, I figure out what I want to write a joke about, and today I thought I'd like to write a joke about self-isolation. This is rather a fluid method of writing jokes. It's not very prescriptive. You kind of play with it a bit. But generally the idea is I've got some methods I apply, which one of them is opposites, one of them is take it further, and one of them is redefine. And then after that, I contextualize. And the last one is what makes it, takes it from basically just a normal joke to something that I'd use in stand-up comedy. So we've got apply methods, then contextualize. So thinking about this, the first thing I do is apply a couple of methods. I have a think about the word self-isolation, and I think, are there any opposites at play here? So we've got 2 words. So we've got self and we've got isolation. And I suppose the opposite of self is other people or others. And the opposite of isolation is integration? Yeah, integration. I'll go there. Integration. So I have to think, how could I play with this? So self-isolation is the proper term. Maybe it could be others isolation, or maybe it could be self-integration. Maybe I have a bit of a play with these. So let's see other people isolation. So other people isolation. Maybe an idea for a joke with this could be, instead of self-isolating, I get others to leave me alone. It's kind of fun. I guess it's a kind of a fun idea, but it's not really yet a joke. Maybe I could think about what I could do, how I could make it so people leave me alone. I suppose one of the ways could be making them. Another way could be being annoying. That might make people leave me alone. That's enough. Let's have a little play with this. So making them. So how could I make people leave me alone? I guess I could take all the people and put them somewhere. So take people and put them somewhere. So then if I force everyone else to be somewhere else, then I am therefore isolated because they're not around me. Maybe somewhere specific. Put them in maybe shared. Okay, this could be interesting. Maybe instead of self-isolating, I isolate other people by locking them in my shed. That's kind of promising. That's almost a joke. Okay, so back to instead of self-isolating, I get others to leave me alone. I guess I could get others to leave me alone by being annoying so they don't want to be around me. I'm a musical comedian. I use the flute and a recorder. I guess people don't really like being around. People generally don't like being around recorders. Maybe I could, by being annoying, by playing the recorder. The best way I find to self-isolate is by playing the recorder. And everyone is out of there. Yeah, that's kind of fun. Maybe another way could be maybe a pretend list of self-isolating. I get other people to stay away from me, and I find the best way to do that is as follows. Step 1, get out my recorder. That's it. Okay. We've played with self and made it others. Maybe we could play with isolation and make it integration. So self-integration. Integration. So self-isolation is staying away from people. Self-integration is staying with people. But the idea is I'm not wanting to be with people, because that's the whole point of the joke being about self-isolation. But self-integration, I could be with something else instead. I could be with my imaginary friends. That could be fun. My demons. Maybe my voices in my head. Maybe I could spin it like I'm a positive person. Listen. So I don't think of it as self-isolation. I think of it as self-integration. Okay, that's quite funny so far. Because being away from other people gives me more time with my imaginary friends. That's kind of fun. It needs a bit of an edge though, I think. Maybe imaginary friends is... Maybe I could do... Maybe try with my voices in my head. Go away. Because being away from it gives me more time talking with the voices in my head. Okay, that's a bit funnier. What would be more than self-isolation? What would be another step worse than self-isolation? Be self-isolation in a prison block? I don't know. Maybe in the prison. What's the word for being in prison? Incarceration. Self-incarceration. Okay, that's promising because it rhymes and it sounds silly. I don't do self-isolation. I do self-incarceration. Maybe what would that involve? I lock myself somewhere. I make myself be in prison. I lock myself. I've already done shed. Shed's a funny word. In the shed and hide the key. Yeah, okay. Because that's silly. Because if I hide the key, I'd know where the key is. So that's kind of fun. How about and then I only tell myself where it is once everything is fine. Okay, I kind of like this. I think this might be my favourite. I don't really like the beginning. Why would I do incarceration? Maybe I find... I know. Maybe I find self-isolation too hard. I don't have the discipline. Okay, I find self-isolation too hard. I don't have the discipline. And too tempted to go out. So instead I do self-incarceration. Cool. Oh, this is fun. That is okay. That's pretty good. Okay. That's enough for that. Taking it further. How about redefine the self? People say the self, don't they? There's like the self, like a sense of self. Isolating from your sense of self? Ooh. But if you're isolating from your sense of self, then you're not yourself. Then this sounds right up my alley. Okay. I isolate myself from my sense of self. Now I think I'm someone else. Which is, where would that go? If I'm someone else, then I could talk to myself, which is good because then I can be my own imaginary friend. That's pretty cool. I think that's quite nice. But then if I was my own imaginary friend, probably wouldn't get on with myself. That's almost a joke. Although it didn't work out because get on with him because that guy's a jerk. Okay, that's all right. So I've got 5 maybe things that could be promising for a joke here. So I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these and contextualize them. I mean, the whole idea is I don't want to self-isolate, I guess. I guess that's the overlying thing. I don't like self-isolating, which is relatable. I guess nobody really likes self-isolating. To fit in with that theme, I could say I could almost be just, I go straight into this. I don't like self-isolating. So instead of self-isolating, I isolate other people by locking them in my shed. Okay, I think just that. Okay, I don't like self-isolating. So instead of self-isolating, I get other people to stay away from me. I don't like self-isolating, doesn't really match with this one, but I guess the positive person bit kind of could just be a bit more of a non sequitur after that one. So it could be, I'm a positive person, so I don't think of it as self-isolation. I don't actually, maybe actually because I've already said a couple of jokes, I'm kind of making it in a different direction. Maybe I think of myself as a positive person, a bit better rhythm. So I don't actually think of it as self-isolation, I think of it as self-integration. Because being away from others, doesn't need other people, others, gives me more time with the voices in my head. So I find self-isolation too hard. The truth really is that I find self-isolation too hard. I don't have the discipline, too tempted to go out. Let me just chuck these in here. So instead I do self-incarceration, okay? I lock myself in the shed and hide the key, and then I only tell myself where it is once everything is fine. Is that enough just how it is? Maybe. The truth is I actually gives a bit of a better rhythm, actually find self-isolation too hard. I just don't have the discipline. Maybe I just don't have the discipline. And then I don't need to say too tempted to go out. I've already covered it. I don't have the discipline. So instead I do self-incarceration. I lock myself in the shed and hide the key. Okay, that's quite fun. And then I only tell myself where it is once everything is fine. Cool. That's quite fun. I quite like that. And self-incarceration. One more to go. Sense of self. I guess it's not really about finding it too hard. This one's just weird. Maybe I made a mistake and got it wrong. Maybe it's like the first time I tried self-isolation, I got it wrong, and I isolated myself from my sense of self. And then I thought I was someone else. This one's a little bit odd, but I kind of like odd jokes, which was good because then I could be my own imaginary friend. But that didn't work out because in the end, because I didn't get on with him. Didn't get on with them is a punchline by itself. Maybe I didn't get on with them, and then a little extra saying that guy's a jerk. Cool. Okay, so 5 jokes. I'm going to say them aloud to make sure that I feel that they sound funny enough to try. Sometimes looking at stuff, they seem funny, but then saying it, they don't, or the other way around. Some of my favourite jokes don't look funny written down, but they're now funny to say. So I'll try these as I would probably say them on stage. Okay, so I don't like self-isolating. So instead of self-isolating, I isolate other people by locking them in my shed. Cool, I like that. So instead of self-isolating, I get other people to stay away from me. And I find the best way to do that is as follows. Step 1, get out my recorder. That's it. Cool, I like that, it fits my rhythm. I think of myself as a positive person, so I don't actually think of it as self-isolation. I think of it as self-integration, because being away from others gives me more time with the voices in my head. Cool, that's fun. I think all of these I could probably elaborate on and do more with, but I think they're technically jokes as they are, so that's enough for right now. Okay, next one, the truth. The truth really is that I actually find self-isolation too hard. I don't even need the truth, it really is. I'll just take that up. I actually find self-isolation too hard. I just don't have the discipline. So instead, I do self-incarceration. I lock myself in the shed and hide the key. And then only tell myself where it is once everything is fine. Cool, that's probably my favourite. Okay, the first time I tried self-isolation, I got it all wrong. Sometimes in saying it loud, you just chuck in different words because it makes more sense to how you say things. The first time I tried self-isolation, I got it all wrong, and I isolated myself from my sense of self, and then I thought I was someone else, which was good because then I could be my own imaginary friend. Although it didn't work out in the end because I didn't get on with him. That guy's a jerk. Okay, so to sum up what just happened, I was trying to write jokes about self-isolation, and I applied my methods, which were I looked at the opposites of the words and the phrases. I took the words further, and I did a bit of a redefine on some of the words. With that, I came up with some joke ideas. Then I contextualized them, figured out how they could fit into the real world, and so I reworded them slightly. And then the last step is I read them aloud, and I changed the wording around so that the wording was how I actually say things. Thanks for watching until the end. If you liked this and found it useful, press the like button and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of my future content.